Hey everyone, so welcome to this final part of this painting here, and I'm going to use that small brush to paint those details of those beads that you see, right? So all these very intricate details are done using that small brush, and again we want to use that watercolor pencil to help us with drawing and painting all these small little beads. So what I do is I draw all these small little circles like what you're seeing right now. I'm using that pink color pencil or different light colors to paint and to draw those beads. So we want to make sure that the surrounding is actually drawn or painted with a light color like yellow or pink or purple, and then we're going to use that small little brush to use the water to kind of like spread out all these different kinds of pigment around that pink color pencil or the marks that are made by the color pencil, and to make the middle part very light. And using that water we can kind of like make the beads look more lifelike, and I'm going to use this small brush to help us with the drawing and the painting of all those beads that you see, right? So again, we want to use different colors, like we have pink on the left hand side, and then now I'm actually using these yellows and browns and all these different colors in order to draw all these details. So in Varanasi we have all these shops, and we have this alley, and there's like a lot of all these shops, and I found this particular scene very interesting because this man is looking directly at me as I was photographing this entire scene, and so the contrast between the sunlight and the shadows are also very interesting, as well as the walls and all the objects that are found in this shop. And so the effect of the sunlight shining on these beads is also very spectacular, and so I kind of like photographed this scene, and I decided to paint this scene because it looks very special. And right now I'm actually doing all these beads using a small brush to help me with the painting of these yellows and this orange and all these light colors. And of course, in between those beads or objects that are seen hanging in that place, I kind of like used all these dark strokes to kind of like separate and to show the shadows between all these different rows of beads. So we have like pinks, we have purples, we have yellows, we have orange, we have all these different kinds of colors, and again repeating the same process as we move towards the right hand side. Right, so this small brush is really very versatile when it comes to painting all these small details. As you can see right now, I'm actually using this small little brush in order to help me with the painting of all these pinks and yellows and greens and so on and so forth. And all these beads form all these very interesting patterns that I'm actually very enjoy, and I really like doing all these different kinds of details. Right, so at the bottom part right here we have more dark tones, and using the small brush we can again apply all these different kinds of dark tones like dark greens, dark purples and so on and so forth, and combining them with the color pencil as well. So it's also very interesting to see all these dark tones that are combined with the color pencil, and we can use the color pencil to kind of like soften the edge as well. And the use of this color pencil can help to make all these highlights, because the marks that are made by the color pencil is very strong and it's very obvious, and we can use this color pencil to help us with all these making of all these different marks and different kinds of things, different kinds of colors that we see. And so right now we have all these different colored beads at the bottom corner right there, and we also have all these colors that are coming out from some of the threads that are actually hanging from the right hand side. And using this small little brush, I'm just kind of like making the surrounding with all these marks and all these very nice colors, and that will give us a lot of all these different kinds of transitions. And we can use gray, and we can use pinks, we can use all these light colors like grays and even browns to connect all these different parts together, and this what we call color transition. Right, so using the color pencil, just try to touch up and do some of those highlights that you see, and using the color pencil just trying to make sure that we have all these light colors that we can see, that I'm using this blue to actually do the handle, some of the bars that are seen behind those beads. And right now, just repeating the same process as we proceed upwards. So we have all these browns, and we have all these, pinks, and we have all these very nice colors. And now proceeding on to the drawing and the painting of the beads at the top. Right, so using that color pencil, we are kind of like transitioning from the shadow area, which you can see on the left hand side, where there's all these dark kind of beads, and here I used a variation of soft and hard edges to show the separation of the shadow area, right? So there's this line that kind of like separates the dark and the light, and as we move towards the light, we kind of like have this soft line that kind of like separates between these two different areas. And so using a small brush, I'm trying to navigate through this entire kind of transition. So I use bright colors to show some interest for some of those beads. So using that pink, I'm just trying to make sure that we have, all these kinds of light colors, and we can also use this dark color. As I mentioned earlier, using my small little brush, I'm just kind of like trying to make sure that we have all these dark colors and this separation between the different rows of beads, and we have this dark color right here that kind of like forms the shadow. And just using that small brush, I'm able to make sure that we have all these kind of like separations and kind of dark areas. And I'm just going to make sure that we have all these different kinds of light colors surrounding it, so that also makes up all these very nice kind of colors and transitions. And we have all these grays to act as transitions between these different rows of beads. So again, using a small brush, just trying to make sure that we have all these colors in, and again using a small brush to kind of like draw the circles, so we can kind of like use all those curves to draw those small little circles that you see right now. They appear to be very, very nice looking, with those very small kind of circles with the center being white. And using that pink and that orange, I'm just kind of like slowly trying to transition upwards, and we have again all these different colors like orange, we have pinks, we have all these subtle grays, and we have all these very nice kind of green, and all these very, very interesting kinds of colors. And we have browns, we have orange, we have pink, and we have all these very, very nice kinds of light colors that form this area, which is not underneath the shadow because the sunlight is shining directly on it. And so we have all these very light colors, and they are like impressionist colors because they are tinted, and they kind of like relate to each other because they are all light colors. And so we have all these different different sizes of beads as well. So I use alternating colors of similar hue and tone to adjacent elements. Like for example, we have all these pinks, we have purples, we have light blues, and all these different colors actually relate to each other as we make sure that they are kind of like in the same color zone. So again, using that black paint, just kind of like showing all those shadows and leaving white, which we will actually do using that small brush right now. Those areas that are left white, and we are using this light brown to paint those beads, as you can see right now. Right, so the thing is, we need to use all these different colors, and that will make the scene more vibrant with all these different colors and all these different kinds of transitions and different kinds of color relationships between all these light and darks. And that will make the entire scene come alive because we have all these amazing kinds of color relationships. And just trying to depict this part, as you can see right now, this area that is underneath the sunlight is coming alive, and there's a contrast between this area and the area which is underneath the shadow, and we have this pretty distinct line that separates these two different areas, right? So again, this is pretty amazing to look at as we see all these details coming together, and using the small brush we're just trying to make sure that we have the surrounding of those circles being made light in color and the middle part left white, and that is the way that we can use to depict all these circular beads that is under the effect of the sunlight. Right, so we can use the small brush also to paint this bar where all these beads are hanging. So this part here is actually made up of blue tones, but we have all these dark blues and light blues and dark browns, and we can combine all these different light blues and dark blues together, and that will give us this very nice kind of colors and combinations. And you know, we see all those hangers that are hanging on that bar right there, and we can use all these different colors and using light colors to depict the area that is underneath the sunlight. As you can see, there is a huge contrast between those two different areas, right? Those under the shadow and that under the sunlight. And using the paintbrush right now, we are trying to paint the right hand side area, again using light colors like yellow. We have pinks, we have orange, we have reds, we have all these different kinds of beads, different colored beads, and all these different colors actually give us very nice effects. And we have, you know, like pinks that is relating to the yellows, which again they are underneath, they are in the same color zone because they are both light colors and they mimic the impressionist way of adding the colors. Right, so using colors like green and you know, we have reds, we have yellows and orange, and again trying to make all these different parts relate to each other, and that will give us this very nice kind of effect. And right here I'm actually using more strong colors like greens, and we have, you know, later on we'll see like orange and yellows. And these strong colors, even though they are like kind of like from different parts of the color wheel, they actually bring more vibrancy, and we can kind of like combine them in a way that can balance each other so that they won't look odd. And it is important for us to be able to know how to handle all these strong colors with visual tension. And so we have all these like yellows, we have orange, we have browns, we have, you know, purples, we have pinks, and all these different colors are actually used to paint all these small little bits that we see on the right hand side as we come to the conclusion of this painting right here. And you can see that I'm actually enjoying using all these different colored pencils in order to help me with all these amazing details that you're seeing right now. And these are extremely, you know, nice to look at because they actually form a very complex but very colorful scene, and they are very attractive to look at. And to see all these colors coming together and being combined together, that is what makes this entire painting look very vibrant and very interesting. And with the sunlight as well, that actually gives a very nice kind of a visual effect to the contrast between the lightness and the darkness. Right, so using my brush, I'm just trying to make sure that we have all these different kinds of colors. We have blues, we have reds, and again right here, as I mentioned earlier, I'm actually using these strong colors like reds, we have greens, and we have yellows, we have orange. And so just trying to make sure that this part is actually, you know, very visually appealing, and the colors actually balance out with each other, and that will help us to have all these very vibrant and very nicely matched colors because of its relationship in the color wheel. And that is what is most important when it comes to blending all these different colors together, having a knowledge of how they actually work together and using all these transitions in order to balance and to, you know, make them relate to each other. And that is how we paint all these colors. Hey everyone, it's KY Tom here. Thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed my video, please hit the like button and comment down below. Do consider to subscribe to my channel for more art videos. Check out the links on the description below to find out more about my art, and I hope to see you in the next one.